G'day team, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at completing the square to solve quadratics. So in the previous video we went through factorizing to solve for the roots of quadratics. We're now going to be completing the square. So not all quadratics factorize nicely, so what we need to do, we need to complete the square. So there are a few steps involved, okay? So we want something that looks along the lines of this. So step one, rearranging the equation so that only the constant coefficient is on the right-hand side. So in factorization, we wanted everything on the left-hand side and one side equal to 0. Now we want all the x terms or the variable terms on one side, and then on the right-hand side, any constant coefficient. Step two, we're going to add to both sides the coefficient of x divided by 2 all squared. Okay, and then we're going to factorize that left-hand side. And then step 4, we're going to use the rule, if we have something squared equals a, then that something equals plus or minus the square root of a. So just remember, both positive and negative numbers squared will result in the same thing. That's why we need to take into account the positive and the negative solution, okay? So an example of this, x squared plus 4x take 3 equals 0. All right, so we want to solve that for the roots. The trouble is we've gone through the process of trying to find a number that sums to 4 but is multiplied to -3. We've tried factorizing in other ways. Can't quite do it. We don't have our calculator on us. So what we're going to have to try and do, we're going to have to try and sum some products it, okay? Not sum, complete the square. All right, we're going to complete the square. So step 1, rearrange the equation so that only the constant coefficient is on the right-hand side. So that it means we've put the 3 over to the right-hand side. So I've done step 1 and step 2 in this step. So second step, add to both sides the coefficient of x divided by 2, all squared. So the coefficient of x is this number here. So we've got +4. So +4 over 2 squared, and then we've got +4 over 2 squared on the right-hand side as well. All right, so we've now got x squared plus 4x plus 2 squared. So I want you guys to leave this left-hand side one like this. So what that's going to do, it's going to make it really easy factorizing that. All right, so solve the inside, but leave it as that number squared. On the right-hand side, solve it fully, okay? So on the left-hand side, because we have our quadratic in the form a squared plus 2ab plus b squared, we know that factorizes into a plus b all squared, okay? So see how it's really easy just to go a in there and then b in there, all right? And we just square that whole term. Solving that right-hand side, and that simplifies to be 7. This is where we now apply that step 4. So our big capital X here is our x plus 2, and our little a is our 7. So looking up here, we can see that x plus 2 by itself will equal plus or minus the square root of a. So what we've done, we've taken the square root of both sides, but because we need to take into account the positive and the negative solutions, we have the plus or minus there. All right, so we've got x plus 2 equals plus or minus the square root of 7. Therefore, x equals, so we're going to take away 2 from both sides, -2 plus or minus the square root of 7. Now, I want you to write the number out the front by itself and then the plus or minus term. It just looks a bit neater and is conventionally correct when we do these questions. So we read this as x has roots equal to -2 plus the square root of 7, and x is equal to -2 minus the square root of 7. So that's where that plus or minus come in. So we've got -2 plus the square root of 7 and -2 minus the square root of 7. All right, hopefully that process is cleared up. If you follow these 4 steps, then you'll have no troubles whatsoever and you'll be fine. All right, I'll see you guys in the next video.